On this 2003 Super Duty extended cab, I am going to do a door change. I'm going to swap the doors out. This is my project truck that I'm going to keep. That one there is a parts truck that I bought cheap, and I might just part it out, and I might just swap all the ugly parts back over to that and then sell it cheap. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do about that. But as you can see, well, I did cab corners on this late last year. Now that winter is just about over, I can get back on this. So we got a bad spot there. We got a lot of rot going on here. This is only going to get worse, and it's a major job to cut the bottoms off of these doors and replace the bottoms, inner and outer. It's doable, but it's not worth it when you can get used doors that are good. Same thing's happening with the front door. It's not as bad, but it's bad. It's got serious decay in there, and it's cost a lot more than it's worth to fix it. So I found this truck cheap. Didn't run, had it towed in. It runs now. Doors are good. Across the bottom. Clean doors across the bottom underneath there. I had bought this door at a junkyard. I was going to use it, but I decided not to, because after I bought this truck later, and it has better doors. So, and you can see the wiring the wire tied to that broken clip there that's missing. We've got chips in the paint. This door's in a lot better shape than the one that's on the project truck, but it needs repaired. It needs all of these chips filled and repaired, and possibly have to repaint the whole thing. I can probably spot paint a little of that and fix it. And then that window thing. No, this door doesn't need any of that. I'm just gonna take this one off and put it on. Tools I'm going to use are, I decided to use a 1/4 inch drive with an 11 millimeter for these little bitty bolts here for the, I don't know what they call this thing that controls the how far the door goes out, and it just controls the door opening and closing. And you can use a 13 millimeter socket on these with a ratchet or an impact. Either way, 13 millimeter. You do not take these off. That's an adjusting pin. It has a knob on the other end that it's a guide. It goes in a hole there, and it's just a guide to help hold you in place while you're putting bolts in. It's not part of holding the door on, so leave that one alone. Just take these three out. These three. I'm going to take a shot of WD-40. Maybe I don't need to, but I'm going to put on this here boot to help get the boot off a little easier. And what else am I going to do? Need a wire cutter for the speaker wire. Have to clip the speaker wire, and then I'm going to put some male and female bullet plugs on the wires when I put the door back together. There's the bullet connectors and the tool I just bought yesterday that I've always been able to work around it, and I can still work around it, but it'd be handy to have this little cart from Harbor Freight. It's on sale for $200. I can jack this up to just the height of the door there. So that looks like it's at a slight angle, but who cares? Maybe it's the concrete. Might not not be level. But anyway, that'll hold my door at the right height while I'm taking it off and putting it on. This door is not too heavy. It's not hard to handle barehanded, but the front doors, of course, they're a lot heavier, about twice as heavy. So this door probably weighs 50 pounds. I don't know. Front doors are a lot more. So I just sprayed a little dab of WD on this. I can work this thing off of there and then pull the wire out as far as I can get it, cut it off so that when I put it back on, I'll have enough room to strip and crimp a couple of these on there and then wrap some tape. I'm not going to solder them because it's very low voltage. It goes to speakers, and it's inside of an area that's not exposed to direct outdoor conditions. So the crimp-ons will be fine. They'll last a lifetime. I just take a screwdriver in here with one hand, pull that down, and take the other hand. I don't even need the other hand. I pull it out with one hand. Stretch this thing back as far as I can. Make sure I cut this off where I can have access to both sides of it. Inside this part, the other end of this boot has, whoops, sorry about that. Pressed the zoom button by accident. The other side of this has some things on it. Pull this off. It's hard for me to do it without spraying it and using two hands. But there's a couple of little pieces of this plastic boot that stick out, and that's taped onto the wire itself to control how much of that wire you can pull against the speaker. I'm going to open this up and I'm going to undo that tape so that I can pull it all the way, because as you can see, we just don't have a whole lot to work with here. Okay, pulling this out. Somebody else has already been in here and did this on this end. There's that rubber stuff I was telling you. That's taped to the wires. Somebody else has been in here. They just used butt connectors. I'm going to use the male and female bullet connectors. Yeah, it takes twice as many, but I can unplug them later. So I'll probably just go on ahead and just do that on this end, since someone else has already done that. We've got more wire to work with here. I push that boot inside this hole all the way in so that I can pull more wire out of there. And I'm going to cut these off right on the outside of that clip there. Or maybe I can leave those and just cut them off longer here, because I don't know. Let's see what I'm going to do with the other door. But I got to cut them off before I can take this door off. So I'll probably cut them off right next to where it's pinched at, crimped, so that we leave as much wire as possible coming out. Okay, I got that. I taped these wires. I already stripped the ends of them, taped them against this. I'll put the connectors on there, and we'll go on ahead and take this one off first. Get all three of these off on the bottom. This pin is going to be kind of stuck in there a little bit, just from time, but it's not bolted. And got these two off. Now I'm going to take the third one off. Okay, that's all there is to getting this door off of there. Now I got to wiggle it, get those guide pins. The one on the bottom already just came out, as you can see there. The one on top is still in there. I'm going to have two hands on it here. On this parts truck that I'm getting the door from, this is what I was talking about, how the wire is taped onto the speaker. The speaker wire is taped onto this boot. At this point, I'm going to unwrap that. I already sprayed some oil on this and pushed that inside. And I sprayed a little bit on this boot in order to help get it out of this hole. You don't have to do that. If you want to, you can take this panel off, take the door apart, take the speaker out and do it that way, but I'm going to do it this way. If I have to take the door off again, all I got to do is unplug those bullet connectors. So I'm going to go ahead and unwrap this and then slide this down so I have access to the wire. And then of course I put a piece of tape on there to hold the wire onto the door so I don't have to fish it out of the door if it goes in there. I'm sure I'm getting a lot of wind noise. It's windy today. But yeah, this cart here is not very hard to handle. I don't know what it weighs, 50, 60 pounds. It wasn't hard to drag it over that metal pipe there and across the rocks here, switch it around into position. So I got the 500-pound one from Harbor Freight, and it was on sale for $200 down from $250. And the 1,000-pound one's a little bit bigger and it's heavier, and it's, I don't know, $100 more or something like that. So, but I think this is perfect for the doors. It's not that heavy to jockey around and get it in position on the rocks or on the dirt or whatever you're on. Plywood, if you have to do it outside in the dirt, a piece of plywood would be good. Putting this back on. Of course, you just set it on the cart, get your cart at the right level. If you're using one of these carts, you got to pump it up from the back. You just got to watch your body lines so that they match up when you're ready. Unless you're just putting a door on that you just took off like I did, the cart's going to be at the right level already. Wrestle it into position, line up your holes here. I don't know why I'm saying this, because anybody that's doing this, if they can't figure this out without help, they shouldn't be doing it by themselves. So I already put bullet connectors on this, a male and a female, and I'm going to put them on this side again with the wires matching the right side, because it's even though speakers use an AC current, it's not a direct continuous frequency AC, and so there is a positive and a negative more or less configuration on your speakers. Since these wires were cut off at different lengths, I went on and put my male and female ends together, and I'm going to cut the second wire off. It's going to be the shorter one. I'm going to cut that off 2 lengths here with my male and female connectors already plugged in tight with each other, so that I can maintain a fairly snug fit without having a wire that's loose and longer in there than the other one. Just my preference. I rewrapped the original tape down to here, and it didn't have any glue on it, so I put a little piece of electric tape around the end of it, and then I wrapped a piece down here. But because this does have some exposure to the elements, water raining inside the door in some cases, really this window doesn't roll up and down, so that shouldn't happen, because it's a vent window that closes this way. It's not likely water can get in, but it's just a good practice, I think. I'm going to wrap a second piece of tape around these just right here. If there's ever a reason to get into this again, I can pull that piece off and it won't be bothering the rest of these. And then I'm going to slide this boot up and then cover this end, because that end is exposed, or not exposed, but it's not wrapped. Probably going to have to do some adjusting here on the door. The lineup pin has slipped. You can see where the paint is not on this farthest inside portion there, but I didn't loosen that up. I don't know, that must have already been like that, either that or it's loose now, but I didn't loosen it. So either that slipped because someone else had this door off and did that. Anyway, I'm going to snug all of these down, and then I'm going to back 2 of them off, 3 or 4 turns, and then just work with 1 bolt on top and 1 bolt on the bottom. Then I'm going to keep tightening and loosening as I adjust it, and I'm going to have to move These, sorry about the camera there. Top and bottom, I'll have to move these one at a time until I get the adjustment right where the door, actually outside of the door matches up with the outside of the body here, top and bottom. It's working, but I still think the bottom needs to come out just a little bit more. It looks like it's just a little bit tight inside, and I already moved it out some, but I think I'm going to try to get a little bit more. So I'll just use this handy cart here to jack it up a little bit on the outside to help me hold it while I loosen these all four, because I got the lineup pin has to move too.